How was it possible for Harry and Voldemort to be cousins? Were there two Harry Potters in the family? How come the Potters were so rich? And most intriguing, why did Voldemort have to kill Harry's parents? They didn't pose any danger to him, right? Hi, I'm Dylan. Let's find out. The first Potter. When the Harry Potter books and movies ended, fans had tons of questions regarding the Potter family. And luckily, JK Rowling did her best to answer them. I'd say that she even went a little too far, tracing the Potter's family tree right back to the 12th century. So, who was the very first Potter? Ladies and gentlemen, his name was Linfred, and he lived in the village of Stinchcombe, Gloucestershire. The interesting thing about this man is that he had a reputation for being eccentric and even absent-minded. But at the same time, Linfred did good, and people loved him. He created lots of medical potions and helped many muggles. Of course, the muggles didn't know the potions Linfred gave them were magical, but as long as they worked, nobody cared. His neighbors called him Potterer, cause he was always pottering about in his garden with all his funny plants. And Linfred's potions made him pretty wealthy, I must say. Make a note of that, it'll help you understand later why Harry's parents became so rich. Linfred had 7 children. The most important kid for the Potter saga was the eldest son, Hardwin. Hardwin married a beautiful young witch, Iolanthe Peverell. Yes, the Peverell. Iolanthe inherited her grandfather's cloak of invisibility, and when she tied the knot with Hardwin, one of the Deathly Hallows became part of the Potter family. Starting to realize what cool relatives Harry had? Very distant wizard ancestors. So distant that Harry might have some connections with Tom Riddle. Let's talk about that. A dangerous cousin connection. JK's universe implies that there are not that many old wizarding families that exist nowadays, and most of them are somehow connected. According to what we know from Rowling's extensions to the wizarding world, both Harry and Tom have one common family descendant, the Peverell family. They had 3 brothers who you probably remember from this dark cartoon, Antioch, Cadmus, and Ignotus. As I've already said, the Potters are descended from Ignotus's granddaughter, and Tom Riddle is descended from Cadmus, which makes Harry and Voldemort very distant cousins. And it kinda sheds light on the question as to why Voldemort saw himself in little Harry and picked him as his enemy. Here's another interesting fact about the Potters. There were 2 Harry Potters. Which actually sounds obvious cause hey, Potters have existed since the 12th century. And the possibility that they named their sons Harry only once is pretty low. So who was the other Harry Potter? His actual name was Henry, but all his friends and family called him Harry. Harry had a son Fleemont, and Fleemont had a son James. Yes, the James. So Harry Potter's great-grandfather's name is Harry Potter. Cool, huh? It'd be fair to say a few good words about Henry as we talk about him. Henry served on the Wizengamot for almost 10 years, and publicly criticized the Minister of Magic for not helping Muggles in World War I. Just as the first Potter, Linfred, Henry was very pro-Muggle. His position even led to Potter's exclusion from the Sacred 28, which was the association of 28 British pureblood wizarding families. Wow. The deeper we go, the more we see that the Potters only did good, right? Why then did some of the Potters come to a pretty bad end? And to some degree or another, even an unfair end. The Fatal Dragonpox. Have you ever wondered why Harry lived with the Dursleys after his parents died? I mean, didn't he have other relatives, like normal? Unfortunately, no. Only Lily's relatives were still alive. James didn't have any siblings, and his parents Fleemont and Euphemia sadly passed away sometime before Harry was born. But what happened to them? There's a disease in the wizarding world called Dragonpox. It's kinda like COVID, but sparks come out of your nostrils when you sneeze, okay? And just like COVID, it can be fatal, especially to the older wizards. Poor Fleemont and Euphemia contracted Dragonpox and died soon after James and Lily's wedding. The interesting thing about Fleemont and Euphemia is that they struggled to have kids. So when Euphemia was pregnant with James, they both took it as a miracle. Probably that's why James grew up as a very spoiled kid and did some horrible things to other students at Hogwarts.
Nice one, James. Right, who wants to see me take off Snivelly's trout?
But anyways, Fleemont and Euphemia loved their only son so much that they did their best to get him on the score of a lifetime. That's how we get to the money question. Where did the Potters get all their gold? Well, they should thank Fleemont Potter, that's for sure. Cause this wizard invented a potion that became a real hit in the wizarding world. I'll give you a hint and you try to guess what this potion was. Its slogan was, 2 drops tames even the most bothersome Barnet. Got it? Of course, it's a potion for hair care. Almost all of the Potters since the 12th century had unruly hair, and Fleemont decided to fix that and earn an impressive amount of money at the same time, cause why not? Fleemont invented the so-called Sleek Easy's hair potion. It was manufactured in China. Yes, even in the wizarding world, mass products are manufactured in China. The cosmetic potion became so popular that magicians all over the world used it years after Fleemont died. Even Hermione used it. Well, at least she did in the books. When she was preparing to go to the Yule Ball with Victor Crumb, she used liberal amounts of Sleek Easy's hair potion. Now, remember I told you to make note of Linfred's ability to invent successful potions? Just like the first Potter, Fleemont could come up with some useful potion ideas too, and had the strong business acumen to successfully monetize them. Sometime after inventing Sleek Easy's hair potion, Fleemont retired. He sold his company, adding to the Potters' already substantial wealth. It was never stated how much money Harry inherited, but one thing is for sure, the boy who lived owes his grandfather a lot. Was James Potter a toe rag? As I've told you, James grew up as a spoiled kid. His parents gave him everything he wanted, including the Cloak of Invisibility, which they got from their ancestors. So when James got to Hogwarts, he behaved like a toe rag. By the way, that's what Lily called him before they started dating, and she was absolutely right. James Potter behaved like the Draco Malfoy of his time, self-obsessed and arrogant. The things that he did to Severus Snape were absolutely disgusting. So my question is, why did Lily marry this guy? There was a chance for her to be with Snape if he hadn't been so obsessed with dark magic, and if Snape hadn't called her a filthy little mudblood, but she chose James, who actually changed as he grew up. There are many theories on the internet about why James became a better person. Some people think he just wanted to win Lily. Others think he felt a responsibility for his friend Sirius, who went off the rails a lot as a student. But I actually think that he changed because deep inside, he always had a moral compass. He was a Potter, and Potters were always good. There was an episode in James's student years when Snape almost died because of Sirius Black's prank. Sirius encouraged Snape to go to the Whomping Willow and check where Lupin disappeared to every month. And since Lupin was a werewolf, things could have ended fatally for Snape. It was James who saved Snape's life then. And I think that was the breaking point for his character. Lily found out about his act and realized that James could actually be good. I feel like we can make a whole other video of their relationship storyline and how Snape affected it. What do you guys think about James Potter? Can you forgive him for all the evil things he did to Snape? Or do you still think he's a toe rag? Let us know in the comments. Why did Voldemort kill the Potters? This is a key question of the whole Harry Potter saga, and I'm not sure why, but many fans don't really know the answer to it, which is next. There was a prophecy by Sybil Trelawney. According to it, there would be a boy born at the end of July 1980 who'd have the power to defeat the Dark Lord. So as soon as Voldemort found out about the prophecy, he searched for every boy who was born at that time. There were only 2, Harry Potter and Neville Longbottom. The interesting thing here is that Voldemort didn't know the entire prophecy, only a piece of it. He missed one very essential detail. And the Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, but he will have the power the Dark Lord knows not. Maybe if Voldemort had known that, he wouldn't have tried to kill the boy to avoid the prophecy coming true. But he didn't. Voldemort decided that Harry Potter was the one, not Neville, who would be dangerous. And this was for 2 reasons. Number 1, just like Voldemort, Harry was a half-blood wizard, while Neville was pure-blooded. And number 2, the Potters were an ancient family who were related to Voldemort's ancestors. Remember I told you Harry and Voldemort are distant cousins? That's why the Dark Lord saw himself in Harry even before he actually met him. Now, why did Voldemort kill James and Lily? It's sad and simple. They got in his way. Voldemort never wanted to murder James and Lily. More than that, the Dark Lord even gave Lily a chance to survive. And that's thanks to Snape, who was a Death Eater at the time, and he asked Voldemort to spare his beloved Lily. Just thinking of how different things could have been makes my head start to ache. I mean, what if Voldemort had chosen Neville instead? Or what if he had known the entire prophecy? Or what if Lily never married James Potter but chose Snape? I think that the true beauty of JK Rowling's world is the fact that even after years of publishing the books, the fans can't stop digging into the story, inventing new theories, and searching for hidden meanings. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, then you should also enjoy these videos. Thanks for watching, folks. Take care.